Okay, so I am very pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Regina Berreta from the University of Newcastle, UON, Australia. Regina will deliver the talk, Gender Balance in STEM, a Journey of Challenges and Successes. Professor Regina is a co-founder of the HunterWise, a group dedicated to supporting girls and women in STEM through a school intervention program and a series of networking events for women in STEM professionals. Regina has been in several leadership positions, including Assistant Dean, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion of the UON College of Engineering, Science and Environment. Regina, thank you so much for being here. Welcome, and the floor is, before I say the floor is yours, so feel free to send, so the audience participants, feel free to send the questions in the chat while Regina gives her talk. So Regina, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you very much, Marcela, and thank you very much for the invitation. I'll just share first my... Yep, everybody can see that? Yep, good. So first of all, as well, again, thank you, particularly Marcela, thank you for the invitation. I'm very glad to be here. As Marcela said, my name is Regina Berreta. I'm a professor of computer science at the University of Newcastle, but I'm originally from Brazil. I have been in Australia for 20 years now. So I would like to talk a little bit about my journey, and I will try to share with you a little bit about my journey from Brazil to Australia, particularly because some of you are from Brazil here, and as well to talk a little bit about gender representation in STEM, things that I learned being Assistant Dean, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion, and as well some initiatives that we have been working, particular HunterWise, right? So in Brazil, I'm from a family that is traditional Italian, that as you, maybe some of you know or not, but in my family, the men work and the woman wait for a very good husband that take care of them. As you can imagine, this didn't sit well with me, and I fight a lot during my teenage years. Nobody could understand why I want to do mathematics, but well, I end up going to the university, and I did a degree in mathematics. I did another degree in computational and applied mathematics. I did a master and a PhD in engineering, but my thesis were really something between engineering, computer science, and applied mathematics in the area of operations research. All this was done with scholarships. Without scholarships, it would not be possible. And when I finished my PhD, I got a fellowship from FAPESP. If you're from Brazil, you know what a FAPESP is. It's like an ARC from Australia, but it's there from the state of São Paulo. Was a very good fellowship that I could work in the top university in South America, that's University of São Paulo. So I also had some lecture positions in teaching on universities in Brazil to be possible, right, to have a good income. But then in 2002, we had the opportunity to come to Australia. No? So this is São Paulo, where I'm from, that you can see the end of the buildings there. Then I moved to Australia in 2002. That was challenge. We had my husband, I, and our daughter that was 1 year old on that time. We had 4 suitcases, 32 kilos each. On that time, we could carry 32 kilos. Now we can't anymore. 7 carry-on baggage that I have no idea how in any airport people did not stop us. I think they just felt sorry because my husband looked like a Christmas tree with all these 7 baggages there, but well, we made it and we arrived to Australia. Well, when you arrive to Australia, and I think what I will share now if you move countries, you know what I mean. The first challenge, right? No documents. The only thing that we have is the passport. No car, no house, no child care. Nobody told me that, told us that child care was difficult in Australia, because in Brazil it's not difficult at all. Understanding the Australian accent, understanding my students, I felt so embarrassed when I could not understand a question from a student. And of course, my own accent that I carry until today, and I will carry the rest of my life. No professional network, right? You needed to build up the professional network. Again, I was one of the few women in my faculty on that time, and understand cricket. Look, in summer in Australia, it's all about cricket. And in the first few years, I tried to understand. I gave up on that. I can't understand this game at all. But even with all these challenges, the sense of a community and the super safe, compare with the place where I used to live. I was feeling very safe here, and with a very young daughter was very nice. It's very family oriented, high living standards. So I was very happy, and I really love to live here in Newcastle until today. I have been here for 20 years now, as I said before. Then I start as a lecturer in the University of Newcastle. So in the first years of being lecturer, the first victories, right? I had a very high feedback on my teaching. I really enjoyed teaching. I had my first grants approved. I got my first ARC discovery. ARC is like a CNPq or CAPS from Brazil. So it was in a new area, even though I was working the techniques that I was trained for during my studies. Now I'm applying for a new area that's bioinformatics. And with that, I was one of the co-founders of a center on bioinformatics, biomarker discovery, information-based medicine. Was all new, but I was really in the subgroup that was really about developing mathematical models and the computational techniques to analyze data. So I got as well a teaching and learning fellowship in this period. And then I was promoted after these first years to senior lecturer. But even though looks like, first victories, I really confess that I was kind of luck, because I was in a small group that I received support. But outside of that group was very difficult for me. It's like I am one of the only women around here on that time. I'm short, I have a not strong voice, I have an accent. So I have all the stereotype that when I talk in a meeting I felt that was not easy. People take me seriously to have a voice inside the meetings. So this was, I think, the first thing that was a challenge for me. So after some years, I had a very nice head of school that really convinced me that I should take my first leadership position. And then I was head of computer science and software engineering from 2011 to 2014. I learned a lot on that period. It was challenge, and I think sometimes is what we need. When you are stuck, you just need a new challenge to move forward in your life. So the challenge here was, then I was in several meetings, not only my discipline, but around the faculty. And I was the only woman in several meetings that I was in. And to find the voice was really, really difficult. But well, the good thing is I could spend my university network and all the work that I did inside the discipline. The discipline of computer science, software engineering was the bottom in terms of student satisfaction. And after 3 years and a lot of initiatives that we implemented, was the second best of the university. So with that, I really gained respect, but it was a lot of work. You feel that always you need to prove that you can do it. And during that time as well, what helped me a lot, and now I believe we have more initiatives like this, is that I was put in an academic women leadership that was 1 year training. I as well received excellence in award in excellence in research. And as well, I got as well a fellowship career enhancement. And this fellowship helped me a lot because I divide my time in two things. Half of the time I was just working to improve the discipline, was really about my leadership in the discipline. And the other half, I was improving my research, and they gave me money and I could visit some universities in US and visiting some collaborators. So really helped me a lot on that fellowship. And then I was promoted to associate professor. But again, I just would like to mention this hint. So in the first year, I felt that I had no voice. Then leadership begins, and well, I have a voice. And not very easy, but I had a voice. And I was training, as you see, with the academic women leadership, the fellowship, I had mentors. But something that works, but I don't think is the right thing to do, is we are trying to be different. It's like we need to, maybe I exaggerate here, but we needed to act like a man. We needed to maybe to dress differently, to talk louder. We just needed to change our behavior to have the voice heard. And I don't think this is right. We needed to be who we are, right? But I confess that I tried to change a lot, and I received a lot of training for that, and helped on that time. But I think we needed to move on these kind of things, and we needed to be accepted as we are. There is no, the picture of a leader should not be the same for everyone. So this is something that I struggle a little bit here, that all the time I needed to be a little bit different. So from after associate professor, I continue my leadership because I did well being head of a discipline, then I started to be called, and since then I always have been in leadership positions. So I was deputy head of a school, and for the Brazilians here, for someone that's not Australian really, in the universities here, we are dividing disciplines, and a set of disciplines are under a school. No, so my discipline of computer science and software engineering was under this school of electrical engineering and computing. So now I was the deputy head of electrical engineering and computing, and I was member of the academic senate, and this was a lot of luck as well. I was chief investigator of a very large project with the ERC. And this was really in supply chain management, and it was a lot of bridge research there. And I work in a couple of projects that are really related with my PhD. So I returned to my original research area. I was very happy with that project there. And it was a really large project. With this large project and all the leadership, I continued to supervise several students, having good feedback in teaching, etc. So I was promoted to professor on that. But it's interesting because after I was promoted to professor, what is next? I want to do something like it's time to give back. So I felt that I would like to do something in gender equity in STEM. So in 2017, they decided that from 2018, they would have every faculty, now college, because the university changed a little bit, they needed to have assistant dean equity, diversity, and inclusion. So I put my hand up. So from 2018, and I finished this in December, 4 years on that role, I was assistant dean equity, diversity, and inclusion of the whole faculty that now we call college. So the college, you have schools, and each school you have a discipline. So I was in charge of everything related with equity, diversity, and inclusion inside in my college. And I will talk a little bit about my work on that area. And as well, I co-founded HunterWise as well. I will talk a little bit about that. But first, when I took this job, the first thing that I think we all should do is see what's the state of the art. Let's see which are the numbers. So what's the gender representation in STEM? So I try to check national reports, what is the status quo at the moment. So as you can see here, around 10% of students in high school that study engineering are female, 19% study computing. When you see university enrollments, you see that around 17% of students studying engineering, they are female, 19% only in computing. If you check, and just to check the red there, right? If you check the female students that finish STEM degrees are around 20%. And you can see all the sources here. And of course, these are not 2023, but the numbers didn't change much really. As you can see here, and I can't see because the video are here, you can see that around 15% are females working in the workforce. And you see that the numbers, they are improving, but they are improving so slow, right? And when you go to leadership positions or you go to academia, the numbers are not very good as well. Here, here is the positions in the university. A is associate lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, and a professor. And you can see how it works here in the STEM area, right? If you see the research sector, professor is the top position in just 23% are females. And if you see here, CEOs or head of business in Australia, just 8% are females, and 28% are in managing positions. When I present this kind of information, in the first talks that I gave, people always said to me, when I say people in general are from men really, are saying, well, maybe females do not want to work in STEM area. So I try to check around the world how it is. Well, 35% of our students enrolled in STEM-related fields are female around the world. 27% engineering, 28% ICT. So Australia is below average, really. But if you check some countries, more than 20 countries, in fact, the majority of STEM bachelor degrees go to female. And this is very interesting. In Iran, 80% of STEM bachelor degrees go to women. And in India, 40% of computer science degrees go to women. So it's really not that women do not want to do STEM. We want to do STEM, right? And then another question that I got a lot, well, why bother? If you let them to do whatever they want, yeah, this is true. However, we needed to discuss about that, and we need to see the reasons of that and to find the solutions, because there is a couple of the arguments, and I will just show one here, is about diversity. We have more and more research showing that diversity is a key driver for innovation. And when I talk about diversity here, of course, the talk here about gender, but the diversity is not only about gender, right? It's about background, it's about different ages, it's really much more than just gender. And this is just one study that I want to show you. Is this study here in US, check 1,500 companies over 15 years. And in fact, show that women representation in senior management is associated with improvement in organization performance, where a company focuses on innovation. And the link of these studies below there in these slides. So, okay, so these are the numbers. Around the world is not exactly like that. We have a reason to investigate. So which are the causes and which are the solutions? So of course, I will not here talk a lot of each one here, but just to mention some of the causes, right? And the first one is the big one, right? Cultural issues, such as negative gender bias and the stereotype. And from a young age, when you say pink is girl and blue is boy, right? This is a toy that for boys, not for girls. Or when you go to a store to buy a bed for your daughter, this happened with me, and all the beds that has the blue on side, they have a desk next one. And the other side, you have all the beds with pink quilt cover and no desks. Only desks when we have the blue quilt covers, just boys will need a desk. So it's so much there that I think we are improving, but it's a lot to do there. In STEM area particularly, the male dominating hierarchical nature of STEM work environments as well does not help, right? We have lack of female role models exactly because of the second option there. And we have a lack of support networks, mentors, sponsors. We are improving, we are having more and more, but this is one of the causes. So which are the solutions? Well, I think one thing that's very important is that there is no silver bullet. There is nothing that you can do that will change suddenly the situation. What we need, and I hope you can see my arms, is working like this, do a lot of things from kids to senior management, and we need initiatives in all areas all at the same time to be able to improve the status quo. So we need to improve STEM work culture, difficult recruitment strategies. We need to increase the female staff, mentorship and sponsorship for staff. We need to increase the female STEM role models. We need strong leadership cohesion across STEM. And this is something that we have ambassador of STEM in Australia, that she prepared a document that try to give some guidelines, because people all have ideas, but you needed to see, okay, which are the ideas that already was tested and they do not work, which one are they work, and how you have an idea and you build your idea, how will you check if your idea is working or not? So I can talk about that if necessary. And of course, outreach programs, and one of them is the HunterWise that I want to mention very quickly. So during my time as Assistant Dean Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, I work in all that, and I'll just very quickly mention some things that we did. So improve STEM culture is very difficult. What I try to do is at least we talk and discuss openly about that. So I visit schools, disciplines, I organize lunches, seminars, always trying to show evidence, right? Always please evidence-based information. This is really, really important. And as well, I did some kind of EDI statement that now every Prof, Vice Chancellor, head of school, head of discipline, they read in the beginning of the meeting just to make a statement that EDI is important. And if there is any issue that is happening, please come to talk with me or go to talk with Regina. Or now that is Vicky, is the new assistant in EDI. Recruitment strategies, we work a lot on that. We, in fact, implemented what we call female target. It's different of female-only recruitment. Female target is when we open for all, male and female. They all apply. We do shortlist, we interview. Then we decided that we have 2 candidates that are appointable. If one of them are female, the female gets the job. So we did a lot of work on that. In fact, we analyzed the data down that we finished, and we as well needed to improve the process. So with all this work, in fact, the University of Newcastle received an award in this particular strategy. The University of Newcastle as well, we implement several initiatives for female staff, from early career research to leadership, staff, academic and professional. I myself, for example, I offer help for every female academic that we're going to promotion. So I organized mentor or a mock interview, prepare them better for the promotion application. And as well, the University of Newcastle received an award for this particular strategy. The University of Newcastle as well has been making a significant effort to increase the female visibility in STEM, from not only senior people, but female students as well in key areas, and as well outreach programs that we have been increasing, in particular HunterWise. So HunterWise, we found HunterWise in 2017, and as you can see here, we are 7 female academics. We all now we are professor or associate professors from different areas of STEM. And in 2017, we have just a small funding from the university, and we decided to do some kind of outreach activity in a high school. And I will tell a little bit about that. But today we have sponsorship from a lot of different companies, and we run this outreach in several schools. And just to tell you a little bit about that, we run, I think this is very important, it's not one-off, it's not that you go to a school and do something. We run outreach activity that is during 10 weeks. So in the first couple of weeks is a brainstorm with the girls, is year 8. And with this brainstorm, we try that the kids find a problem in their community, and then we help them to find the STEM solution. We employ a lot of mentors to help this process. The mentors, they are all senior undergraduate students or PhD students in STEM, and they're all females. So we are female, the mentors are female, and they work with the girls. And then the girls as well visit different sites. They go to companies or they come to the university, and we do a tour around the labs. And in the end of these 10 weeks, we have a big award ceremony that we invite the executive of the university, all the parents, the kids, the teachers, people from the companies, they come. It's a very big event. And with that event, the 3 best projects receive an award. So this is the outreach activity that we are running for 10 schools, around 10 schools per year, more than 100 girls. And as well, parallel to that, we have a network that organizes different events during the year. Can be a panel discussion, Q&A session, a seminar. Of course, I always talk about something that relates with gender equity in STEM. So after this period there, just some awards. I received the Faculty Gender Equity Award. In 2019, HunterWise received as well the University of Newcastle Excellence Award in Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And after 4 years being an assistant dean, I as well received University of Newcastle Award of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. So, and I really believe that we are better than yesterday and worse than tomorrow. I think there is a lot to do, but I think we are improving a little bit. Maybe a little bit slowly, but we are improving. So what is next? I think we were here before. I think with all the initiatives that we are working very hard, we are here. So what is happening is this guy here now can see the game, right? This is us. But I think the future is this one here. We need really to change policies, culture, and to have these systematic barriers that we need to eliminate that. And when we eliminate that, we don't need more of this, right? Because we all will be able to see the game. I think this is what we need to work for in the future. So thank you very much. And I finish here.
Thank you so much, Regina. Thank you. Yeah, I second everything you said. It's just, yeah, we are better than yesterday, but we've got a lot to do still. We've got a couple of questions, and I'm aware of time. Perhaps, Julia, do you wanna say your question, Julia?
Hello, yes. Professor Regina, you were talking about how you arrived in Australia early on your career, and you had no professional network. So this is something that everybody who is here, I think we feel it a little bit in the beginning stages of our career. So my question is, do you have any tips on how we could build a network? General.
Yeah, well, in my case, what helped is going to conferences, really going to conferences and go to talk with some key people in conferences. Yes, there are some people, I'm a little bit shy, you know, but if you are not on that type, something that I mentor some of the young academics here, and one of them I gave some tips and worked for her that, well, try to find who are the key people in your area in Australia. Write email to them to see if you have a Zoom meeting and to discuss a little bit about your ideas. And maybe she did that, and she contacted a couple of people and starting to build the network from there. I don't know if I would do that when I was in 2002, really. I would be very shy. But what for me worked was really try as much as possible working, participate in conferences, and try to investigate a little bit before going to the conference, and choose one or two people that you could talk during the coffee, introduce yourself, and follow after that conversation. If the conversation went well, follow up with an email, and then you can start building up from there.
Thank you, that helped a lot.
Yeah, and also I have to do a little bit of promotion here. You can become a WREN member if you want to increase your networking. Yeah, and join our events. I will talk about this later, but yeah, you can become a member just visit our website, and there are a lot of opportunities for networking.
And Marcela, just I forgot as well to say that you can be a member for HunterWise as well. It's free. And I forgot to mention on that slide, we are in Facebook and Twitter. You can find us. And if you are a member, you just receive a 1 month newsletter with the events that we are organizing. Of course, it's more relevant for people in Hunter because we are trying to do all the events now face-to-face, not online.
Good. Another question. So from Natalie. Natalie, do you want to say a question, or are you happy for me to say a question?
Sure, I would like to ask, please.
Yes, go on.
Thank you, Professor Regina, for sharing your trajectory. It was amazing. And I would like to ask you about how tools that you used to keep motivation in middle of the challenges and especially in the environments where women are the minorities?
Yeah, well, you know that I had one slide in a previous talk that I gave, and in that slide I was saying, look, it's not only flowers, right? I had a lot of stress and anxiety, all the issues that come with it. Don't think that is all, no, yes, let's go, and it's everything works well. The stress affected me a lot during some periods of my life here. But something that since I was teenager, and I think maybe because of my family didn't expect that I do anything just to wait for a good husband, I just have this in mind that I want to prove that they are wrong. So this is something this is the fire inside me that all the time, and when I arrive here and people do not pay attention on me, well, I will prove that they are wrong and I can do a good job. All the time when I see that people, you know, I can feel that people don't believe me. I just want to, came something, maybe it's anger inside me, I just want very badly to prove that they are wrong. But of course, it's not that easy. And I feel that we need to fight much more than some of our male colleagues. And it's not saying that the male colleagues do not have the issues as well. And when they are not Australians and they are heavy accents, they have other kind of issues as well. But as a woman, I can see around me that we always need to fight a little bit harder to achieve the same thing that my male colleagues achieved. But yeah, I just want to prove they are wrong, and I could do it.
Yes, you did. Yes. Thank you, Natalie. Just one more question. Oh, we've got another two. Let's see. Maina, do you want to say you want to ask your question?
Sure. Hi, Regina. Let me open my camera as well. Thank you very much for sharing all these personal information. It's really good to hear that, because I guess we can all always relate to it. My question was specific about quotas. I think I'm here in Australia as well for 5 years, and every time someone mentioned quotas, is, oh no, this is not okay. Everyone's feared to have that conversation about female quotas, for example. I just want to hear your opinion about that. What do you think?
It's interesting because I like the idea of quotas, but it's not very popular. And during this recruitment strategy that we work, for example, I would like to see some female-only positions, but even the females were not in favor of that. I received a lot of backlash. It was very few people really are in favor. Why I'm in favor of quotas or even female-only positions is that we need to move the dial in some areas a little bit quicker. If we don't do something, it will not improve the numbers. So, and we can see that only we improve the numbers here is that we will have a positive consequence here, right? So there are some areas that we have so, and I do not want to mention exactly where, but there is one particular area that I knew that we had zero female academics, one particular area. Oh my God, you have zero. How will you convince? You needed to have female-only positions, but I could not convince. And for me, it's the same of quotas. If you do not establish quotas, people do not work harder to bring this female and increase the numbers. If you will try just, let's just convince more women to apply. No, the way that the recruitment and the way, at least I know academia, how academia read the curriculum, it's more favorable for males that they work a lot in research, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm in favor, but it's really not popular. but I think in some key areas, we should do something a little bit more aggressive. If not, the numbers will not change soon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just a starting point. We have to do something, and then, yeah. I'm aware of time, so perhaps, yeah. So Regina, as a grassroots network, the WREN is very grateful for your support and for the opportunity to junior academics to hear from an incredible woman, senior academic in STEM. Thank you so much for sharing your personal insights, your career path. We really appreciate your support and time. Thank you so much.